Hotfix 84 just dropped, and the market is back online in Season 6. Love it or hate it, the market is here for the time being, and now that everyone's got the ability to buy whatever pieces they want, I figured it'd be a great chance to revisit the build guide videos I made last season. A lot of people seemed appreciative of that content. I thought it'd be a good chance now to revisit those videos and make a new build guide for Early Access Season 6, now that we're in Hotfix 84. So here goes. Here it comes. Okay, I'm blocking. Now tap out, tap out.
Yeah, there was no getting out of him. He's in there.
Oops. Woo! Close one.
Nice.
That was two hands? Two hands the pious. That was two hands. Got him. Wow, we got him. This video is going to focus on Shield Fighter, and I've been playing more solo Rogue, so I want to include that in the video as well. I hit him with the Rupture. Dancing around the bear. Oh, we got him. It's also very early in the season right now, and a lot of the crafting has not yet unlocked. So the build compositions and rarity guides I'm putting forward in this video are not going to include some of the crafted gear. There has been an update to the gear score assigned to these Copperlight and Cobalt pieces. They are now more expensive in terms of gear score than they were in the past. But this isn't accessible for all players. So I'm not going to recommend including these in the build guides today because I want all players to be able to follow along. And I find that this is just a little bit out of reach for some people. I also noticed really quick that there seems to be a difference, maybe a bug, between the Cobalt Regal Gambeson, which has a gear score of 40, and the Cobalt Templar Armor, which only has a gear score of 20. This could be like a clerical error, a back-end error, but just so you know, it seems like everything else is pretty consistent in terms of it should be the right gear score, except this Cobalt Templar Armor, which is 20 gear score less than its equivalents. So, don't know if that's a bug, but just a heads up, that's there for you to explore if you feel like it. This video is going to include a kit recommendation for Shield Fighter in both 124 normal and 224 high roller, and I'm going to include recommendations for a Landmine Rogue build for 124 normal, for 224 high roller, and also a tank Rogue build for 124 normals. So 5 builds, 1 video. Bear with me, there's a lot to go through. Here we go. We'll start with Fighter because it's my first love and probably the class I know the best. Let me turn off my camera and turn on my gear score guide. So these guides I'll make available as standalone JPEGs. You can download them in the description below. And the way this works is I'm going to avoid telling you exactly what pieces of gear to wear, but instead I'm going to prescribe different rarities of gear for certain slots, so that when you combine the rarity of that gear, you're going to get to right at the gear score limit of whatever bracket you want to play in. In this case, that's 124. The whole point of this is to give you a basic stat target to aim for, but also the flexibility to mix and match the pieces that you like, the pieces that you have, in a way that makes sense and is most comfortable for you and your playstyle. So here's my recommendation for the 124 normals Shield Fighter build. This build combines a common helmet, uncommon chest, common legs, uncommon gloves, epic boots, rare cloak, epic neck, 2 green rings. And it's this combination of gear and gear rarity that helps us get to the target stats we're looking for. For this Shield Fighter build, we want a strength of 25 plus, dexterity of 23 plus, and a move speed of 290 plus. This is a versatile Shield Fighter build that works in solos, duos, and trios. For solos, you might want to swap out for slightly lighter armor to improve your move speed. If you're fighting in trios, you might want to put on some heavier plate, which will make you slower, but make you tankier for the front line. You get the most value, in my opinion, in normals out of high-quality boots for the move speed and other stats. Also, a lot of value from a epic neck as well. It's unlikely you're going to find better boots and a neck than this in normals, so you bring in these pieces to give you the stat advantage. We also make space in the gear score for a rare cloak, because it's unlikely you're going to find a cloak in normals. Helmet and legs you can replace in the raid. Now, I've got some dead rolls on these pieces. You might want to spend some gems and tune up. For example, I don't need additional memory capacity on these boots, but that's up to you. The build also uses a common arming sword, poor heater shield, poor crossbow, and in my backpack, I'm carrying a common flange mace. This lets me hot swap between my arming sword and my flange mace in case I see someone with high PDR or a longsword. For me personally, I like to use the flange mace against those opponents, but otherwise, I've been loving the arming sword these days. So I've got 2 of these, and I have space for this in the gear score. Also, make sure that you choose a poor heater shield. From the Squire, you're going to get a common white heater shield, but be careful, that's going to knock your gear score up by 1. For perks and skills, I've got the classic Shield Fighter combo of Shield Mastery, Counterattack, Barricade, and in this case, I'm using Sword Mastery, but you could easily swap this out for Weapon Mastery if you want to run with a bow or a Morningstar. It's up to you. I'll stick with Sword Mastery. For skills, there are so many viable fighter skills to use in builds these days. Breakthrough is great against sorcerers. Perfect Block is great against the heavy melee like the Morningstars and the Bardiche. Spell Reflect is hilarious. Shield Slam is kind of a sleeper skill. No one expects to get hit by the shield. So there's a lot of things you can explore in the fighter skills, but for now I'll just stick with Sprint and Second Wind. And the last thing I'll say is this 290 move speed seems slow, but actually it's not that big of a deal when you consider the movement speed bonus you get from counterattack, and then layer Sprint on top of that. So the play is to block first. Once you have the successful block and your move speed bonus from counterattack kicks in, then you pop Sprint and close the gap with your weapons out. So even though you seem slow on paper, once you get that block and the counterattack bonus and Sprint, you're back in their face and you're doing melee damage. So keep that in mind. Okay, now let's talk about the high roller version of the Shield Fighter build. The high roller version is similar to 124 with a couple of critical differences. In terms of the target stats, we're looking for a strength of 30 plus, dexterity of 30 plus. Also, ideally, the move speed is 295 plus, just to help keep up a little bit with all of the other classes that are going to be zooming around in high roller. Here's the breakdown for this build. Rare helmet, rare chest, rare legs, epic gloves, epic boots, epic cloak, epic neck, 2 blue rings. This could be an epic ring and then a blue neck and a blue ring. As long as one of these is epic, whatever you have, it's no problem. We also use a rare primary weapon, poor shield, poor crossbow. The 224 gear score doesn't have any room for a swap weapon in the backpack, but I find that this is more of a duo or trios high roller build. Because to be honest, you don't want to be a shield fighter in solo these days. It's just not a fun place to be with the meta right now. Shield fighter in solo really suffers, particularly in the mid to late wipe. So, this is more of a build for duos and trios, which is why you see me in a plate chest. Higher PDR it's better for the front line. A few of these pieces I have some dead rolls. We see memcap here. We see magical damage reduction, magical interaction speed. Yeah, there's a couple of these pieces have some dead rolls. So even with my kit being not fully optimized, we still were able to hit those stat targets of 30 strength, 30 dexterity, which is great. For perks and skills, again, the classic shield mastery, counterattack, barricade. But in this case, because I'm using the flanged mace as a primary, I can switch away from sword mastery, and instead I'm choosing swift for the extra move speed bonus. And then here, because I'm expecting to play in duos or trios, I find that adrenaline rush with a flanged mace can be a devastating combination in that frontline situation. So I've switched off sprint and I've put in adrenaline rush. I'm still using second wind, but again, you may prefer to use breakthrough or perfect block, something here for the style of fighter you want to play. But overall, this is a good balanced shield fighter build. You have a high damage output, you have a decent swing speed, you've got decent survivability, the shield is there to take damage off the table, and you can rely on your teammates for range support and other backline utility. Moving in. Locked here.
I'm gonna give us action speed. Freak him.
Yep.
I'm on the cleric.
I'm on the fighter. Fighter's hurt.
Headshot cleric.
Hit the cleric again.
Nice.
Watch the fighter. A block
Back
fighter.
off if you need to. I can switch with you.
Yep.
I just can't get in there with you.
Yep.
Hit him.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
let's go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah, they definitely have. Oh, legendary club.
Shut up. This season is also the first time in over a year or more that I've been playing Rogue seriously. I went back to Rogue in solos because I just got frustrated with some of the limitations of Shield Fighter in that game mode. You just don't have the move speed to keep up with most classes, and I find the shield is just getting a bit less reliable these days. He's Ignite. He hurts a lot. Dang,
That's
I blocked it.
a
I
lot of
blocked it. I
damage.
blocked it. I blocked it. Headshot. As player skill increases, as some broken classes remain unfixed in the game, playing a shield fighter in a solo environment was in many ways more headache than it was worth. So, I've picked up Rogue for solos. It's been a lot of fun. Uh-oh. Invis Wizard.
Yep.
Oh!
Nice.
Okay, be careful, there's a bat coming. Oh, wow. I can't believe that. And here's a couple of the builds that I recommend. We'll start with the Landmine Rogue. The target stats for this build, for the Landmine Rogue build, are 22 strength or above, 32 dexterity or above, and a move speed of 300 or above. This should be doable comfortably with the 124 gear score for normal lobbies. And the reason we're targeting these stats is because we're not trying to go fast, we're not trying to escape, we're not trying to be a mosquito rogue. We're using hide, and we're using our stealth and our creep to get as close as possible to opponents, to spring an assault, be in melee range, do melee damage, and stay in melee range until the target is dead.
Oh, who's the player? Healing.
You can't smite.
Yeah.
So to do that, we need damage output, we need attack speed. We'll talk more about true physical damage in a sec, but for now just know that it's strength and dexterity, it's physical power, and it's action speed that are the most important aspects of this build. The move speed is important to help get in position, but after you launch the attack, move speed doesn't have as big a role to play, so we're not really focused on it.
Yeah. Oh. His friend ran around the other way. That was smart. But not smart enough. can't deal with the Blinninator.
Uh-oh.
Well done.
Okay. In terms of the gear and the rarity of pieces, here's what I recommend. Use a common helmet. This is poor, but they both have the same gear score. It's from the Squire. So, common helmet, common chest, blue legs, blue gloves, epic boots, blue cloak, blue neck, 2 green rings. For this build, we're using a poor stiletto, and this is important because even the common stilettos have a higher gear score. The common stiletto gives 2, while the poor version only gives 1 gear score, so this is important. Poor stiletto, poor hand crossbow. I'm including a hand crossbow because I feel most players are going to be comforted by having some ranged option, but if it was up to me, I would let go of this hand crossbow, and that would let me switch to a white stiletto. I wouldn't run a ranged weapon, but that's just me. That's my preference. You might be comforted by having some sort of ranged option, so I'm including that in this build by default. The reason I'm comfortable with a poor stiletto dagger with only 19 damage is because there's an opportunity with this build with Rogue to stack true physical damage. And you can see I'm doing that basically everywhere here. We have 2 true fizz from the Frost Amulet, 1 true fizz from the cloak, 1 from each ring, and 1 from our gloves. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional true physical damage every time we stab with the stiletto. So I'm not too worried about the lower weapon damage here because most of the work is coming from the true fizz. And again, we're prioritizing strength and dexterity because we want to maximize our damage output and maximize our action speed to get as many pokes of the dagger in as possible before we start taking damage. Oh. Wow. In terms of perks and skills, I'm still new to this class, so this might not be the most optimal, but for the landmine style that I like, I use hide, I use stealth, so I can move around in hide. I use creep to mask the audio sound of my crouched footsteps. Very useful. This to me is the landmine nexus, right? You'll notice that the other skill I recommend is Cutthroat. Cutthroat is just so useful against so many other class abilities in the game. It's obviously useful against casters, but it also works great if you get the drop on rangers. It can prevent or erase the multi-shot skill from ranger. Go through the door. Going through the door. It's a ranger. I'm on the ranger. I'm behind the ranger. He's stuck. Nice. And then just a sorcerer, looks like.
Yep.
He put his staff away. Silly, foolishly. I'm missing my shots. Okay, we got him. We got him. It can nullify things like Second Wind. It can prevent a cleric from Divine Protection. There's just so many ways that Cutthroat can be useful in a landmine situation. I highly recommend it for this build. In terms of the other perks, I'm going with Dagger Mastery and Thrust, or alternatively Poison Weapon. I think that Dagger Mastery is more important to choose. There's more flexibility with the last perk. That's your choice. Overall, I've been having a lot of fun and a lot of success with this build, particularly against the most annoying classes in the game right now. Never again, bear. So if you're new to Rogue and you're just picking it up, I wish you luck. Let me know how it goes. Now let's talk about the 224 high roller version of this Landmine Rogue build. For this build, we are targeting a strength of 25 plus, dexterity of 35, and a move speed of 320 or higher, because this is high roller after all.
Coming in, I'm behind you. I'll put pressure on.
Yep. Careful now. One dropped. One dropped. One chased out. I chased him out. This is along the same lines as the normals version, but here we're again trying to maximize our damage output and our swing speed with these stats by juicing these stats in particular. I don't care about vigor. I don't really care about agility. Our agility is going to come from our base rogue stats and just the general pieces we wear, but I'm not focusing on agility as a primary objective, really. I find that it's pretty easy with the rogue gear to get to a 320 move speed or above with the high roller gear score of 224. Okay, let's run it down. Blue helmet, epic chest, epic legs, epic boots, blue gloves, blue cloak, epic neck, 2 blue rings. And again, this could be 1 epic ring and a blue neck and a blue ring. Whatever it is, one of the 3 jewelry will be epic, the other 2 blue. We also use a blue stiletto and a poor or common crossbow. We're taking advantage of the 224 gear score to give us more room for higher base damage on a rare weapon. And also the build will benefit from putting true physical damage everywhere that it will tolerate. So you can get 3 true fizz from the frost, 1 from the cloak, 1 from the ring, 1 from the ring, 1 from the glove. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 true physical damage every time you stab with the dagger, which is very, very strong.
Skelly on you, Skelly on you.
I'm on the cleric.
Nice, brother.
On the stairs.
Nice, bro.
I'm
with you.
tapping out.
He's dead. Dead.
Nice. Just the bard.
It's easy.
I got this guy.
I'm on the bard.
Stairs.
I'm on the bard. I'm on the bard.
Nice, bro.
the bard.
Nice.
Dead.
You got him there.
Oh, great.
Most of my pieces here have dead rolls. I did not spend any money gemming up this kit, so I'm missing a huge opportunity for even better stats. But it goes to show you don't need to have a perfectly gemmed, perfectly optimized kit to get good base stats to make this build viable for solos. Let's talk about perks and skills. Like we saw before, creep, stealth, and hide together is the foundation of the landmine build. Cutthroat is just so valuable. And then here I'm using dagger mastery and thrust. I let go of poison weapon because I figured you can just do so much more damage swinging fast with a bit of thrust and the dagger mastery that we're not messing around with poison weapon here for high roller. This is going to be a versatile build that you can use against basically every class. It's good against casters. It's good against kind of the mid-range. It's decent against PDR because you've got the thrust and you've got all the true physical damage. So I'm really not afraid of any class in solo, and that's the idea. It's a very versatile, high roller landmine build. And then the last build to talk about is the Tank Rogue. I don't have a lot of experience with this build, but I'm including this segment because hopefully other people in the community can maybe help me understand how to best build for this, because I do think it is a viable way to play Rogue these days. Let's talk about it. The Tank Rogue has a few stat targets. 15 strength brings you to a baseline physical damage. So you're not taking a physical damage penalty. 15 is basically par, is even. If you're lower than 15 strength, then there's a negative physical power bonus every time you attack. So by having 15 strength, you're at least not negative, you're dealing decent damage. The Tank Rogue stacks for vigor. It stacks for HP, and that's the goal here. We want a target of 30 or more vigor and HP of 140 plus. So you can see I'm at 13 here and 139, but I have Jokester as a perk. Jokester will give me +2 all, which will bring my strength to 15 and bring my HP to that 140 or over once I'm in raid. So you don't see that here, but that will happen once I load into the raid. Let's talk about the rarity of the gear. We've got a Squire cap, green chest, green legs, green boots, blue gloves. In the graphic, these are reversed. If you have blue boots and green gloves, that works too. Whatever works for you, I just had these pieces. Blue cloak, blue neck, 2 green rings. Again, we're taking advantage of true physical wherever we can with our neck, our cloak, our rings, and our gloves. For the weapons, we're using a common short sword, common rapier, poor hand crossbow. The gear score also accommodates 1 stack of throwing knives in your belt. Maybe you don't want to use a short sword, you're not comfortable, that's fine, you can choose a dagger. To mix it up, I don't mind the short sword, I think it's got good base damage. You don't need to have dagger perks to make the short sword actually have some decent DPS, so this is up to you. This is kind of like a very flexible, kind of utility-focused rogue build. You'll notice that when we go to perks and skills, I'm not running hide. This is rupture and weak point. We're using creep, we're using jokester, traps and locks, and poison weapon. My vision for this is you're a team member. This isn't really a solo rogue build. You're almost like a sneaky slayer fighter that has more utility for your squad. So you've got rupture and you've got weak point. You can do chip damage, mosquito damage from a distance. You can also focus in on a frontline fighter or barbarian, weak point them to help another member of your team burst down the opposing front line. Creep helps you position and relocate in a fight silently. Jokester helps your squad. Traps and locks can help your squad. If you're going deep into Inferno and you want to open chests for your teammates, you can do that. Poison weapon helps. Hit and run helps with the hand crossbow, helps with the throwing knives, etc. There's also some utility in nerfing incoming healing for any targets you hit. So this is really a style of rogue I don't have a lot of experience with, but I can see how this would work in a duos or trios situation. So I wanted to include this to the build, but you tell me, how could I make this better? As I push further into rogue this season and start to play more of it in a team situation, how could I improve this build? Please let me know. I'm very curious. Okay. So I think we'll leave it there for now. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your watching. I appreciate your time. Let me know how I can improve. I always look forward to reading your comments and suggestions. Until next time, we'll see you around.